Hey guys, welcome back to ACA. We are going to be reviewing the Partagas Lusitania today. So we've smoked a couple of these recently,
Yeah,
and they've been smoking very well.
yeah. Even quite young. Sort of both ones we've tried have been 2017 boxes, so both relatively young. So quite surprised. For me anyway, like I don't really have too much experience with these. The couple that I've just smoked in the last month or so have been the only ones I've ever smoked, but they've been amazing. So I'm really excited by this review. I'm really hoping that this stick's going to be really, really good because the first couple I've smoked are really, really good.
So the Lusitania, if Partagas was the royal family, the Lusitania would definitely be the king. Very famous cigar. I have the feeling it's named after a boat, but I can't remember the history there. So,
Okay.
But anyway, it's a Churchill size. So this is going to be a good hour and a half smoke, I reckon.
Yeah, hopefully. I've not had a big dinner, so I'm hoping that I'll still be okay because I know these can
have
be
the
quite
other
a.
half sitting over there. And then,
I know. Well, hopefully these are normally quite a heavy cigar, so but should be alright. Let's see what happens if I sort of pass out during a video. Then obviously I'll make a better video, but yeah, we'll see. But
to me, I'm getting a lot of it. It's kind of nice, kind of musky, kind of.
it's got a
note to it.
It's really strange, but I get a bit of floral note, which is quite a strange one. Like I don't normally get a floral note in the sort of just smelling the wrapper, but it is quite nice. It's not a super strong cedary smell, but
Yeah, no, definitely no.
Yeah.
Not getting any cedar off of that. It definitely got that kind of a little bit of a spicy, like a mature kind of, just kind of complex, kind of deep, kind of spiciness to it
Yeah.
almost. You could,
the wrapper's great. Like there's no issues at all. Super tight. The pack's pretty tight, like pretty firm. Like not super firm, but
Yeah.
pretty good. Not too many veins on mine. Triple cap. So yeah.
These are quite a dark.
Yeah.
These are quite dark Lucy's. So.
Yeah.
All right. Let's cut
Cool.
it.
Let's
See
cut it.
how- get off of that.
Let's get the cold draw and see. Yeah, the pack's pretty tight, so it's good. Hopefully it should be a good draw.
Stick your finger in there. I'm always worried about that.
Well, it depends how many whiskeys you've had, I guess.
There's
If you worry about chopping your own finger.
There's a few times I've been trying around with those. My finger's actually been into the thing and realized it. Like, ooh, it's a good thing I didn't try to close it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice firm draw.
yeah. Draw's really good. Flavors are good.
I'm actually getting a bit of that florally kind of taste to it just on the cold draw.
Yeah, not quite potpourri, but but no, there's a slight. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like a. It's something too that I've not really had.
It's
in
almost
the
like an
cold draw.
old wood kind of. I don't know. For me, the old wood kind of musty. Yeah, it's enjoyable though. It's not.
Yeah. It's more flavour than I normally get from a cold draw. So, yeah, interesting.
It's funny with a cigar that has a really nice cold draw. Sometimes I wish that I didn't even have to light it. I could literally just I don't know. It just it's just nice. It's pleasant.
Yeah, I'm just normally quite excited to get smoking on cigars. I like the smoke and sort of the flavour differences of toasted. But yeah, as I said, like for me, that's the most cold flavour from cold draw. I normally don't. I get the cedar notes normally, and that's about it. So no, it's quite nice.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
All right, guys, we're gonna light this up and let you know what we think.
Cool. See you soon.
All right, well, we're back at the end of the first third. What do you think, Johnny?
Great. Like it's as good as I remember the other ones. I'm getting really good draw out of my one. The burns good, like pretty accurate. Like it was a little bit harsh at the beginning, like with regards to a bit wonky, but I'm terrible at lighting cigars with spills. So this is actually my first successful light. Normally I resort to just lighting with a torch because I don't know if I'm impatient, but the flavors are really good. It's actually quite light. I would say it's on
Well,
film.
That was about an
Bombs.
inch and a half before.
Bombs away. And so I think mine's going to drop soon. So I'm trying to hold it like this. It stays.
You've got a leaning,
it's a
tower
leaning,
of ash right
yeah,
there.
I'm not going to do too much to it. But yeah, for me, it's a medium so far. Quite not too full on. I'm getting quite a nice on the retrohale. I'm getting quite nice fruity sort of type. Maybe like the apricots again. Maybe a bit of like the dried apricot flavour. So that's quite nice. So no floral notes. So the cold draw didn't really translate into the burn, but yeah, happy with it. It's really nice.
So did you notice, because I quite find that when I have a cigar, the first few puffs that I get is usually quite...
So I knew it. I'm glad it was there. I kind of moved the ashtray over, so I knew it was going to happen.
It's usually quite different than the rest of the cigar. Do you find that, was that the case for you today or normally?
Yeah, I sometimes, like some cigars, but I think the first couple of puffs were quite nice, quite good flavors. Like straight away, I was getting really nice fruity notes, and so it hasn't sort of developed to be anything different. So for me, the first couple of puffs were similar to how I smoked for the first third, but yeah, sometimes I know what you're saying. Sometimes that happens, but for me, there wasn't too much.
See, for me, for this cigar, I was getting kind of a coffee kind of espresso for the first few puffs, and after it settled into the first third, I was getting more kind of that complex Partagas spiciness that I associate with the brand. A bit of leather, a bit of like kind of oakiness almost.
Yeah.
It's been very smooth. I haven't had there's been no pepper, no bitterness. It's a medium. I think this is a medium cigar for me.
Yeah.
It's been a very nice one.
It's funny you mentioned the spice, because I'm not getting any of that spice. I didn't get, certainly, obviously, if you mentioned no pepper, but I don't feel any spice to it. But I'm still just getting the smoothness, very creamy, a lot of smoke. So yeah.
Well, no, not a peppery kind of spice, but just kind of a complex. I don't know how else to describe it. Kind of spicy kind of characteristic, that you may have with like a really, I don't know, almost like a minus the sweetness and obviously the wetness, but like the really complex kind of sauce you might get. Almost.
Yeah. Maybe. I can sort of think. Yeah, I don't quite get that in mind, but I think I'm trying to pace myself with this cigar and not smoke it too fast, because it is really tasty, and I've got to. Yeah, that's something I'm working on. Basically, I do know that I smoke my cigars quite fast, and it's a conscious effort. But when we get talking, I get distracted. I just keep smoking it, and I'm like, I gotta sort of follow the pace and sort of have. But I mean, it's a great cigar. Like with regards to sort of, as you say, one of the absolute classics of Partagas, I would definitely put this up there. I mean, I've only had a few Partagas. I've had a D5, a D4, and a Lusitania now, and so and a short, Partagas short, and. Tell you what, Partagas short, that's actually very close to sort of some of the aspects of this, I think, and it's quite a nice, if you've only got 30, 45 minutes, that's a great smoke. I don't know if you had too many Partagas shorts.
I maybe have had a couple.
Okay.
It's been a long time, so my memory's getting a bit hazy, but...
I think that's just because you're getting older.
Aren't you older than me?
I seem to be still there, so I don't know what he's talking about. Obviously, we develop differently, but yeah, my memory's still there, so it's all good still.
Okay. The ash has been great on these.
Yeah.
The burn has been really good.
Yeah.
This, I think Johnny and I were saying earlier, we smoked a number of different Partagas formats, and the Lusitania is a much more elegant cigar of the brand. It's not the powerhouse that like a D5 I find is.
Yeah.
A D5 is definitely like full-bodied, like almost from the get-go.
Yeah.
You get a lot more smoke production. I think obviously that's going to vary from cigar to cigar, My draw on this one is quite firm, so I'm not getting a ton of smoke out of it, but I mean, that's not really hindering my enjoyment. It's a beautiful steak.
Yeah. I would agree, sort of, D4s and D5s are real punch in your face, sort of full on Partagas flavour. But this is a really nice, smooth, sort of, had a light dinner, it's still quite nice. I'm not feeling it at all. I'm actually really enjoying it, and just enjoying the size. This is a 49 ring gauge, I think it is.
I think the Churchill standard is
49. So it's still a really good size. It feels like a good cigar in the mouth, and so it's not actually sort of. I'm not a massive fan of these really small like Coronas. I find that I smoke them too fast to really enjoy them. But I'm obviously we've got quite a few different ones coming up and different. We've got a potential Funadores coming up, so that's going to be the Trinidad.
Well, I've got a couple of Coronas in the bag.
Oh, really?
So we'll do some tastings on those, and we'll see if Johnny will change his mind on the size. Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, let's come back when we've smoked this one a bit more and see if it changes.
Cool.
All right, we're back at the end of the second third, barely. Still, I think it's a bit more like a halfway mark. Anyway, this cigar has not actually changed a lot for me. It's definitely, I'm getting primarily kind of that kind of like complex kind of spicy characteristic that I generally associate with Partagas. I was getting a little bit of touch here and there of like kind of white pepper, very like kind of
Subtle.
yeah, very subtle, pleasant.
Yeah.
It was nice. Again, still very smooth. I'm not getting any kind of bitterness or none of that young cigar flavor. I think that's one of the things I love about the Lusitanias is that it's one of those cigars that you can buy, and you don't need to age them. I mean, obviously they get significantly better with age. I've had some vintage ones, 20 years old, and they're completely different cigars. They're super creamy. They're definitely like less full-bodied, more on the kind of lighter side of medium. Still very much enjoying this one.
Well, for me, it's lost a bit of the sweetness, lost a little bit of the fruit notes that I was getting out of it. I'm getting more now toasted almonds, sort of marzipan, sort of little bit of sweetness marzipan, but mainly toasted almond sort of type flavors. It's still quite mild, like it's not a full-bodied cigar. It's a really good sort of creamy smoke. I'm still getting, I think, a bit more smoke production out of mine than Nate is.
You think it's mild?
Yeah, I think it's medium. Like, I don't think it's not, I don't get any of the real pepper notes, the real spice that I associate with normal Partagas, and even sort of, over halfway through this, we're not getting any sort of real power, not my socks sauce sort of type flavour, but I still feel it's got a lot of good complex flavours out of the draw, and I feel that we were discussing it earlier, sort of saying how this would be a great smoke if you're just out on a Sunday, reading a book, out in the park somewhere, you don't have to focus too much on the cigar, you don't have to think about it too much. It's a great smoke, but it's a good time to sort of relax and sort of have maybe a coffee or something it's just a nice way of like having a good Sunday afternoon maybe. And I think it's one of those smokes where it doesn't have to be an after dinner smoke, and I think that it will always go down quite well, and it will pair quite nicely with just doing something that's not really taxing, and you just want to have a relax. And I think that's a good reason to smoke one of these.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, this is a very rich cigar, I would say. Lost my train of thought. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said before, I'm definitely getting the very more complex kind of spicy notes off of it. So exactly what I was expecting, which I'm happy about.
Yeah. I mean, price point wise, what would you say sort of for this at the moment? What would you?
I think this box was something around the range of maybe about $20
Okay.
a stick.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me and Johnny, I think that we're kind of happy with that price point. You know,
Yeah.
just for a daily smoke, I think for what you get, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And also, you know, you have to think in context of like the length of the smoke as well.
Yeah.
So I think these ones we're smoking a bit slower. We're probably closer to the 2 hour mark at the rate we're going than the 1.5 hour mark.
Yeah.
I would say.
And you know, if you weigh it up, sort of, yes, $20 is a lot of money, but I think as well, sort of what you're getting for that, like value, like if we're talking about limited editions and things like that, you know, $20 is cheap in those ranges. When, you know, you always compare it to a talisman that's going for like $50. Like, is it 50 or is it more than 50? Talisman.
I guess it depends on. I
Oh,
think the
market
cheapest you'd
rates,
be able to, a talisman would be
But-
about 50.
Yeah.
No, the cheapest you can get a talisman for right now is probably like more like 70 US.
Oh, right. Okay, see, exactly,
Yeah.
right? So
And you'd be lucky to find it at 70.
yeah, and so for that, you're talking about like almost 4 sticks. You know, 4 of these, I'd be hard pushed to sort of say a talisman's worth. I mean, obviously they need to be aged, they need to sort of have a bit of time on them, but I think that this is definitely a great cigar to have in your rotation. And I would say that I wouldn't quite say you can smoke one every day, but it would definitely be.
You could.
Of course you could, but I
wouldn't
think.
mind.
Yeah. Okay. If you're Nate, yeah, potentially you can smoke this every day, but I personally don't smoke every day. So, but I'd say it's, you know, it would be one sort of maybe smoke maybe once a week, maybe every other week, just to sort of, you know, have something different. But you know, for me personally, I'm normally a Robusto sort of type guy. Like I'm starting to enjoy these Churchills quite a lot. It's about the time you get to relax and think about things, and it gives you a bit of a chance. Whereas I think the Robustos are quite, you know, you can have it about an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes, like, you know, Robusto, and enjoy it. But I think these are definitely something that you can just take your time with, and you got to give it at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you can really, really enjoy the flavours. Because I do smoke my cigars quite quickly, and I'm being, as I said, conscious of trying to smoke slower, and I'm learning that the flavours are actually a lot different. Like, it's not that I get burnt flavours when I'm smoking faster, but you actually notice a lot more of the different complexities and break it down, and I think that's why I'm enjoying it a lot more as well. And I think that's, I mean, maybe you guys want to, you know, maybe, you know, you comment on how fast you smoke cigars, but I think in general, like, it's you know, great for me to sort of have that idea and concept, because I'm really enjoying that side of things.
Yeah, guys, definitely. If you haven't ever thought about it, or if you notice that sometimes, you know, you don't get the kind of flavors out of the cigar that other people do, or, you know, even videos like ours or your friends, try smoking the cigars slower. I think you'll notice a big difference.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely, I mean, yeah, I think that I'm enjoying this. Like, I mean, I've smoked, this is the third one I've smoked so far, like different box, but same 2017. I don't know the exact month that these are, but the ones I smoked previously were July 2017, and so very, very young still. But I think that, yeah, it's a good way of sort of enjoying it. Even a fresh cigar, I think it's a good way of enjoying them. So,
as I indicated earlier, these cigars have amazing aging potential. I would say one of the best cigars, definitely my top 3 I've ever had. He's a you know, close to 20-year aged Partagas Lusitania, and that stick was definitely like on the slightly milder side of medium, and it was completely just smooth cream the entire way through. So
thanks for the invite for that one, mate. I was gonna say thanks. Where was sort of the invite for that one? But yeah, I can imagine that these would have great potential. Sort of, I mean, rating wise, how would you say it's now? I know we're only sort of through to second, third, but I mean, how's it smoking sort of rating wise for you?
for me, I'm definitely on the high 80s side right now. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say a 90, but
Wow, this is actually the first time I'm actually almost in agreement with Nate. The first one I ever smoked, I put it at 90 plus. Maybe it was because it's the first ever Lusitania I ever smoked, so I've never experienced that. But this one, I would say I'm close to sort of 88. 89 on this one. I think flavors, as I said, haven't sort of carried all the way through yet for me. Like that was the first one I had. It was just fruit flavors all the way through. It was such a great smoke. Really enjoyed all the flavors coming through. But I mean, this has got slightly different notes to it, which is also something that's good. And so yeah, I'm probably saying about 88 for so far. Still very good. So I would still say.
Yeah, happy with this any day. All right.
Cool. We'll come back when we swank through into the final third and give our final thoughts.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we're back at the end of the cigar. We're close enough. What are your final thoughts, Johnny?
I don't know if it's because it's a younger cigar. I'm getting a little bit more harshness sort of coming out of the cigar now. I've had to retouch it a couple of times because I think it just went out and sort of I was maybe smoking it too slow. But I think the flavors I still getting some notes, but it's not as good as the first 2/3. The first 2/3 were beautiful, very, very nice. But I think it's maybe due to the age that they're creeping in a little bit more harshness, the hotness that we were talking about. I think it's a bit. It's got that thing. I mean, it's smoothed out a little bit, but I've had to retouch a couple of times, so I think maybe that's not helped it. But I'm still enjoying it. It's still it's still a smooth smoke, but just a little bit more of the harsh burn, or the sort of that kind of burnt tobacco sort of type flavouring. I think toasted tobacco, is the rather than burnt toasted tobacco flavour. So a little bit, yeah.
Well, burnt indicates that you're getting some bitterness to there. So are you getting any bitterness? Or?
Maybe a little bit. Like it's not as sweet and as smooth as I was having, especially from the first third, and the second third. Like had it still the sweetness, but lost a little bit of it. But I think that it's not quite bitter, but it's still I'm going to put it down to the younger cigar and sort of blame it on that. But yeah.
So I'm kind of getting a similar experience, kind of like the last. Well, I would say last third, maybe more towards the last quarter. Definitely getting a bit of that kind of. The cigar is heating up a bit. I get a kind of a hot, kind of leathery taste. I think I've said that in some other reviews as well. I put that down to younger cigar. I don't get that out of the vintage cigars that I smoke. Cigars that are 5 years or older. But it's still been a great experience. I would rate this. I would say 88, 89.
Okay.
Which for me is quite high.
Yeah.
I don't rate very many cigars over a 90. So on my personal scale, I mean, it was a great smoke. So
yeah.
I would be happy with that any day.
It's interesting actually. I'm actually going to rate it lower than Nate. Normally I would rate it higher. I'm going to drop it down a point or so just because the last third wasn't as enjoyable. So I'm going to drop it maybe down to an 86, 87. I'm going to say 87. It was still a great smoke. Like, still really enjoyed it. We've been here, a couple of hours actually, smoking this, and really, really enjoyed the experience, and still say it's definitely worth buying one. And then if you can let it sit for at least 4 or 5 years, I reckon that you can get like.
I don't know. People can probably be that patient, but you know what? If you have the humidor space at home, buy a box. Take out a stick every couple of months or so. If you buy a box of 25, that's gonna last you. A couple years if you've got it on. I don't know, depending on how fast you go through your rotation or how many boxes you have.
Yeah.
But
I
would recommend buying a box for sure.
Yeah, no.
I love these cigars.
And if you can get an aged one, that's helped you, you don't have to wait the 3-4 years. Then definitely see if you can. But I agree with Nate. They're good to smoke still, even fresh out of the box. But I still feel that if you give them a couple of years at least, I think they'll be a hell of a cigar. It will just turn into an even better experience, and the final third as well would be hopefully with all the great notes that I was getting for the first 2/3. So I think that's.
I think though that what you were enjoying in the first 2/3 is you were kind of describing it as a kind of, you got a kind of more sweet, kind of some sweet notes, some kind of different kind of fruits in there a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think those characters definitely disappear with time.
Oh, do
so
they?
it would definitely be a more
Okay.
different cigar.
It'd be interesting to
Yeah.
see what lingers like after with a bit of aging, because I've never experienced a 10, 20-year-old one, so it'd be interesting to see what actually remains. And I'm still getting toasted notes, like toasted nuts and things like that as well. So there's still complexity in there. It's not just one flavour. And I still would say it's a medium. I wouldn't say it's still not a full body. Like for me, it's still quite a medium cigar, sort of for me. So it hasn't really got any stronger. I'm still quite comfortable and don't feel lightheaded at all. And it's actually a good easy.
Alright. So in summary, we both recommend this cigar.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can pick up a stick. So yeah, as we always say, sort of in our videos, if you've got any comments, about the Lusitanias, if you guys have smoked some, a couple of years, what are your experiences? Because we'd love to hear. Because for us, we're relatively new to sort of this and sort of aging our own boxes and things. So it would be good to get some more guys with more experience, see what your experiences are, and see if it's, as you say, or Nate was saying, does it lose the flavours? Does it what actually remains? And so it'd be good to hear what your thoughts are. And as always, if you've got any suggestions of sticks you'd like to hear us review, or let us try, we'll certainly try our best to sort of get hold of it. We've got quite a few different boxes coming in still, so we've got a fair few reviews coming up. So yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks for joining us, guys. Like and subscribe. See you next time.
See ya. Bye.